Hello friends, welcome to our next video lesson from the Bhagavad Gita. Last week we read the first verse from the first chapter and we were introduced to the blind king Dhritarashtra. This week I'd like to introduce us to Sanjaya. Let me read the first verse again. Dhritarashtra asked, "What did the Pandavas do and my sons do when they were assembled on the holy land of Kurukshetra, eager to fight, O Sanjaya?" So Sanjaya is the king's minister, and the reason the king is asking Sanjaya this question is because Sanjaya was given this boon, this special power from the sage Vyasa, to be able to see what's happening on the battlefield a few miles away, and also to know what's happening in the minds of the people, the combatants there. Vyasa first offered this boon to the blind king himself, and the blind king thought about it and said, I haven't seen my whole life. I want to open my eyes and see this carnage in the battle, and he declined. But when Vyasa said, I can offer it to your minister, he said, okay, that could come in handy if ever I want to see what's happening. So that's what happened. And Sanjaya is, as the king's minister, he's also operating as the king's conscience. He has to do it in a very delicate, respectful way. He's trying to help the king to see that it would actually benefit the country if the king surrendered and he allowed Arjuna and his brothers, under the guidance of Krishna, to oversee the country. But the king is still in charge. He can listen to his conscience, but he has to decide whether to follow it or not. It's a good sign that the king asked his conscience what he thought, what was happening. And it's always a good sign if the blind king within ourselves, our blind ruler, wants to check with a more soft voice within ourselves. Normally, the king only hears the voice of the head, which is continually throwing up vrittis, thought waves. And I haven't found it to be productive to try to shut that voice down. It may seem counterintuitive, but I like to be the welcomer, the host, and the thoughts are my visitors that come and go. And when I do it, when I look at things that way, it creates a huge shift. And the thoughts seem to have less of a hold over me. And then that other voice, Sanjaya's voice, the voice of the heart, can be heard more loud and clear. So for the homework assignment, you're welcome to join me. I'm going to, before I make any decision, particularly anything of any importance, I'm going to pause and check in with Sanjaya to see if my conscience has any guidance for me. Thank you for listening. Hope to see you next week. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.